Hey everybody, welcome to Friday Night Vinyl. This is Ed Majeski.
This is Lenny V. And we are here outside in the fresh air.
And
this is the Saturday afternoon version of Friday Night Vinyl.
And today is April 24th.
Yes.
And I think as we go over, forward, we're probably going to just do spot up live shows when we're all sitting out back here, maybe just relaxing or whatever, and we have a topic and we're like, hey, let's just go live. So that's probably that's what you're going to probably expect going forward with us. And we're going to do little segments like we're kind of doing today. So it's not like a 3-hour thing that anybody has to look through. It's just a quick 10-minute thing.
Right. And it's the thing, like, if we got a couple beers and stuff in us, and then we feel like, hey, we should do a video.
Right.
Some of them might be good, and some of them might be. But,
and
we're going to put one out, and
they'll
whatever.
be the better ones. Yeah. So, Friday Night Vinyl is always brought to you by Red Solo Cup.
Right, but we have no Red
Solo Cups today
have,
because there's nothing ever in them because.
Well, we'll make it brought to you by.
We cannot do that. We cannot do that. We cannot sponsor anything.
Not a paid sponsor. Okay.
No, we cannot do that.
Okay.
But
if we do it, maybe they might pay us, afterwards if they see like how many viewers we get.
So,
or they might ask us for money.
I gotta thank all of our regular viewers. I had to write everybody down that gave us the
all 6 of you.
Yeah. Mike, there's several Mikes.
Yes.
Steve, Robert, and from all of us here at Friday Night Vinyl.
Yes, Robert.
Our sympathies and we love you.
Yeah. We already let him know before, but we're letting you know again, Robert.
Yes.
You're in our thoughts and prayers.
Yep. Roy, Scott, Bob Hill. Well, he gets because I think there's only 2 syllables there, so I went Bob Hill.
Bob Hill.
Well, he's also in the Spectrum group, and he allows us to post it all the time, so we got to give him a little extra there. Jeff Hesley, Jack Garrity, Danny Luca, Dan O'Leary, Dan Nelson, Roy Larson, which is interesting that he worked at my place that I worked at, but I never knew him because he left before that.
Right.
And you knew him
from McDonald's.
From McDonald's.
Way back when.
Yes. So we have Ron, we have Bob Schwartz, Robert, and of course Lynn Finn. We cannot forget Lynn Finn. And Paul Altobelli. I think I said that right. If I didn't,
hey, whatever.
But
he's Polish, so just excuse him.
Yeah. So if I butcher your last name, I always butcher this one. Vinibata Fangucci. Okay. He's like there. And Ben Powell. We know you're out there in spirit, and we're going to get together. And we're going to just do these kind of spot things. Yeah. The interesting thing, Lenny, is right now we're doing this video with a iPhone iPro 12 or whatever.
I can see that.
Yeah, you can see that right there. but the thing is, when we first started doing the show, we did it with an iPhone.
Wasn't quite as good as this one.
Wasn't quite as good as this.
It was like the iPhone 4 or something, right?
Yeah, it was
maybe.
The iPhone.
Maybe.
Yeah, and there was always that concern, which it only happened like 2 minutes before the show would start. We'd lose like connectivity.
Yeah, like when a storm came through or something, you lost your Wi-Fi or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what we're going to talk about tonight is some interesting albums by bands that we all loved.
Yeah.
When we were
what kind
kids.
of prompted us to do this video was there's a lot of new releases that came out recently.
Right.
And so a lot of it's pretty good. A lot of it's a little off the beat, off the cuff. I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
A little like over here when the artist is over here, but the album's like over here.
Well, I think there's one in particular
based on music stylings.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely one.
Yeah, there's definitely one. Yeah.
So
why don't you kick us off?
So the key here, we're just doing this as fun, is a brown bag, and this is when Lenny and I were kids, like at 12 and 13. Lenny would come over to my house, and I'd see him driving down the street with a brown bag.
I'd be on my bike, not in a car. Yeah.
Right. And it would always be like, guess what I have, and I would do the same thing back and forth.
Right.
So
he still does it to me.
And I still do it to him. And I was actually impressed. Actually, we're not including it tonight, but I did the 2 Freddie Mercury solo albums that I got.
And I guessed it.
And you guessed
we played 20 questions, and I got it within 7.
Yep. Yeah. So tonight, let's see. Okay, so there's that's it.
Everything should be in order. Yeah.
So the first thing,
Are these bootlegs that
I don't think they're bootlegs because
Okay.
what's happening is a lot of bands sold rights and stuff like that for extra money, and these places are starting to print up because this is 180 gram vinyl,
Right.
and this is called Aerosmith Live. While it does remind us of a bootleg that we once
Right.
had as kids, Look Homer Angel.
Right.
This one
now
here.
this is the one from Boston, right? The
This is the one
78
from
Draw the Line
from
tour?
Boston. It's from the Draw the Line tour. It's
Right.
got Walk This Way, Rats in the Cellar, Same Old Song and Dance, Get It Up, Sight for Sore Eyes, Kings and Queens, which they didn't perform live a lot of times, and Draw the Line. But a really good album.
Now I'm thinking this is probably my first Aerosmith. Probably saw them on the Draw the Line tour because I mean Styx opened up for them,
Right.
and Styx had their Grand Illusion album just
Right.
came out because I know they did Miss America.
Right.
I remember Styx performing Miss America.
And what the famous line?
Yeah, the famous thing
that Dennis Young said.
Dennis Young was introduced. I think they were introducing Miss America song. So Dennis Young goes out to the audience and says, "What time is it?" And people from my section scream, "It's time for Aerosmith." That wasn't about. But Styx was great, and Aerosmith was great that night, and it was a really good show.
And it's interesting that some of the times that the opening acts got beat up, I think if everybody can go back in time older and realize, oh my God, I saw that band and we booed them. And it's like,
Yeah, you saw this band with that band, and it's like you never see that again. You know.
So again, another one. This one's called A Brand New Song and Dance. Got this a few weeks ago.
Which is not the same old song and dance.
Right.
It's a brand new song.
It's a
and
brand new
dance.
song and dance. This album here is from the Done with Mirrors tour.
Right.
And this has Back in the Saddle opening. Now, so I could be wrong on this. Mark that down.
Yeah, really. Okay. Hold on. There's a pen.
Now, you know what?
I can't find my pen.
You know what? No, this was probably the Back in the, because they opened up with Back in the Saddle.
Right.
And they had a tour called the Back in the Saddle tour when they all got back together again.
Okay.
And didn't have an album. But this does have My Fist Your Face, which apparently was, they say it on this album, it's dedicated to Marvin Hagler.
Okay.
So we are live outside.
We
so
are live side. Yeah. We may get the occasional
Yeah.
sawing of wood or mowing of the lawn or
Yeah. So this has a lot
power
of songs
washing
from
of the deck.
a lot of songs from Done with Mirrors. On it.
Right.
So again, another great live album. And hey, I'm going to eat all these albums up, as you can see.
I'm buying stock in the album store that he
And the
buys stuff from.
FNV stock. It's
Yeah,
it's
FNV.
on the New York Stock Exchange.
No, I'm buying stock for the
It's
the album
negative
store.
20. It's negative 20.
Yeah, it's negative 20 right now.
So, the next one up here for you guys. We got some stuff coming up at the end that we're going to be getting more into a deeper conversation with.
Right.
But this one's called David Bowie and Friends, and it's the 1980 Floor Show. Now, what threw Lenny off a little bit when we were pre-discussing this stuff is
Right.
this is from 1973. It was based off of the Diamond Dogs, the
Right.
Ziggy
The song of
Stardust, and all that.
1984. Yeah.
Right. And wait a minute. Yeah. Yep. And so the 1980 Floor Show.
Right.
He worked with the record labels to get this production together. It was interesting. It was actually recorded in London. I think maybe at the Marquee Club, but yet because of rights and things going on or whatever, nobody in England was able to see this. This was just broadcast
So this was
live.
This was a 73 broadcast, and he was dressed in like a white suit.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
That's more like Young Americans kind of style.
So
for him.
so this album here has it has Marianne Faithfull doing As Tears Go By. It has the Trogs doing Wild Thing. It has this one Spanish band from the UK called Carmen that they were not heard from much after this, but it was some interesting stuff. So, and at the last song,
Right, so it's not
wait,
just old David Bowie. Then.
wait, the last last song, this was his whole production he wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
The last song on here, David Bowie and Marianne Faithfull do a duet called I Got You, Babe.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Last track.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Yep. So, now we're going to get into some of the stuff that we
But yeah, one more live Bowie album sitting there?
yep, and that's what we're going to
Yeah.
So, this one here, this is called David Bowie live in Nassau Coliseum, 1976.
Right, which was the Station to Station tour.
Right.
Now, when you listen to it, and then I listen to it's on Spotify, so anyone wants to like look it up.
Right.
It's on there. Ed made a comment. He's like, I think this might be better than David Live.
Okay, I was going to.
And I'm like, well, and I listened to it. I said, well, I think I know where he was coming from because it's the Station to Station tour, and it's got obviously songs from Station to Station on it, which obviously David Live did not have.
Right.
Which makes this a little better because there were some good songs off Station to Station, and and Station to Station came right after Young Americans, and we were like, what the hell's Bowie doing here, Young Americans? And when this came, Station to Station came out, we're like, okay, he's getting back to where he was before. So I think that's where your comment, came from.
I listened to this
and it's
album.
great quality and everything. I mean, so
I listened to this album now. Now I know I've had some friends tell me about the Santa Monica album, which I want to get. That's from 72 or 73, and but so David Bowie. There's been a lot of live releases going from 73 to like 2005 or whatever.
And whoever has Spotify can just look up David Bowie, and it's on his discography.
But
a lot of live stuff popping up on everything.
This album starts off with Station to Station. Then you got Suffragette City and Fame, but then you got Word on the Wings, Stay, Working for the Man, which is a Velvet Underground cover, Queen Bitch, Life on Mars on side 3, 5 Years, Panic in Detroit, Changes, TVC 15, then wrapping up with Diamond Dogs, Rebel Rebel, and the Gene Genie. And the thing about David Live to me is David Live was taking some of that early Bowie stuff and turning it into a Young American style version.
Right.
Now, at the time, I liked the album. Then it grew out of favor with me, and then I went back and said, "Okay,
yeah." But that album, I mean, even though it was redubbed, I mean, that has David Live. I'm talking about that has some great horns in it.
Yep.
And the lead guitar, it's so crisp and clear. And like I said, I don't care if it was dubbed or not. It just came over as a great live. But this one is also just as good.
Yeah.
Sound wise, quality wise.
So what I would tell you is, if you buy vinyl, get this. Go to your local record store.
It's
a really good record store
it's
right
worth
around
it.
the corner.
And if you don't buy vinyl and you're on Spotify, look it up on Spotify and listen to it. It's a really good live album by him.
It's very good.
It does rival David Live, so that's how good it is.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get. There's about 15 new David Bowie live albums that are out there, and I do plan to get most of them.
Yes.
So
now we're going to some studio albums. We got 2 to talk about.
Okay. So this one here, this is called "No One Sings Like You Anymore," which is
Chris Cornell.
Chris Cornell.
It was released, after his death, obviously. In fact, I think this came out a couple months ago.
Yeah, a month or 2 ago. Yeah.
I think it was released in March of this year.
Yeah.
And it's a whole bunch of cover songs. He must have recorded
obviously
a bunch of stuff
before he died.
Obviously.
It would be a lot harder
after he died, it would have been like silence.
See, that's the kind of brilliance you get here on Friday Night Vinyl. We figured that out. He recorded this before he died.
He had to be still alive when he did it. Yeah. So.
Oh, we're off and running.
We're off and running.
With scissors.
So on this album, so the album starts off with "Get It While You Can," which is a Janis Joplin recording off her Pearl album in 1971. Then he goes into "Jump Into the Fire," which is a Harry Nilsson. You're more
Nelson.
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 It's on Nelson Schmelson. "Jump in the Fire," great song.
Yeah. He also does now "Sad Sad City" by the Ghostland Observatory.
Yeah, we listened to this earlier.
2010. He does a great version of this, by the way.
But
when we
does the only version we care about.
But the Ghostland version is like a techno. What did you say?
I said it reminded me of the group M that does pop music.
Yeah.
It was like really
right. It's like, and we were wondering like, how the hell did he pick this song?
I think they may have toured with him or
maybe, but it's a great version of it. He does covers "Patience" by Guns N' Roses, which I expected a little more from this than it actually.
Right.
I mean, it was okay,
right?
But I was expecting better. "Nothing Compares to You," which I love. Now, when I saw the songs on here, I thought I would like "Patience" better than "Nothing Compares to You." Nothing Compares to You is much better.
Right. It's got
version.
it allows itself for more vocal stuff.
Which Prince wrote it, and Sinead O'Connor.
Yep.
O'Connor recorded it. Watching the Wheels, John Lennon song.
It was okay.
What album was this off of?
Double Fantasy.
Double Fantasy, right. Another song you did, You Don't Know Nothing About Love, which was a Carl Hall song in 1967.
Yeah, and
Not that much familiar
and
with
some
it.
of that soul stuff. It's like, okay, this
Yeah.
this makes me want to go out and look at
Right.
more stuff.
Showdown, ELO song off their third album.
Yep.
Showdown.
Yep.
If you look up the song, listen to it, you'll know what song it is. The next song it's either To Be Treated, which is a Terry Reid song,
Right.
but he listed on here as To Be Treated Right, RITE.
Right.
Now it kind of reminds me. Now his Chris Cornell's version kind of reminds me of Neil Young. When I listened to it, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, this sounds like a Neil Young song. Which when I first heard it, I originally thought it was something from Neil Young, but then we looked it up. It was from Terry Reid, and it came off. It wasn't off of any Terry Reid album that he did. It was off the soundtrack of a movie, Devil's Rejects, in 2005.
Right.
That the song came out. Good song. And the last song, Stay With Me Baby, was a Lorraine Ellison song from 1966. Now we looked up Lorraine Ellison. She was a Philly-born chick.
Philly
1931.
born,
yeah.
raised. Yep.
So anyway, so if you like Chris Cornell, if you like Chris Cornell's voice, you'll love this album. It's like new music by him.
And I told you my only disappointment on this album.
That he's still not alive.
Now, well, that's obviously that, but that he didn't do
yeah.
Ave Maria.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't put Ave Maria on here.
Or Billie Jean too.
Yeah.
The Michael Jackson.
But
that's a really good version.
If you look up YouTube, you look up Chris Cornell doing Ave Maria. Oh my God! It just that just shows you Chris Cornell's voice from top to bottom. But this is still it was an interesting album.
Right.
I'm glad it was released because Chris Cornell to me is one of those singers that can do row 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 your boat, and I want it.
Right.
So I'm gonna preface this next album. So Lenny came over here about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he's got his little Bose speaker thing, and he's playing some stuff, and I'm like, it's Motown stuff, and I'm like, okay, this is good, but he's like, it's not the original, and I'm trying to guess, and mind you, I did the same thing for one of my friends, Steve, who came over here, and I gave him 20 guesses, and I just said,
it out.
I just said, and floored, and so this album was Motown covers or soul covers, as we would say,
which was released in March of this year.
And
well, it's Motown and Philly soul
kind
of stuff, mixture.
And I said to Marie, I said, oh, me, you, Bill, and Lenny are going to go to a show, and she goes, oh. Who's that?
Right.
And when I said this artist, she's like,
I'm going to see him.
She goes, I'm going to go see him. And I said, yeah, you are. So without further ado, the last album of our recent releases that blew my mind, okay? Paul Stanley's Soul Station. This album it's really good.
Right.
I had no idea it was Paul Stanley, and we're going to go through some of the songs on here
that he covered. There's like nine cover songs and 5 originals.
But
that
before
he did.
before we get into the cover songs, I'm not going to talk about original specific.
Right.
But the originals, there's 5 original songs on here that felt like they were written in the same era.
Yeah, it's the same style of the Motown and
I was
soul.
I was like, wow, this is good. Now I'm sure he did not expect the Kiss Farewell Tour to go on for like 6 years, although the Kiss Farewell Tour started in 2000 and all that. But anyway, when all that wraps up, I'm sure he wants to take this out.
I'm sure he
do
will.
something.
I think he did some live shows before.
Okay.
With them.
So let's go through some of the tracks.
Yeah.
on here.
So anyway, you know, Paul Stanley. I mean, aside from being in Kiss, he did other stuff too. In fact, he played the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera in 1999 in Toronto.
Yep.
Right. He did like a 6 or 8 week stint playing the Phantom. I mean, wasn't the greatest Phantom, but he held his own. and it sounded good.
Robert Adam Lewis, still my favorite Phantom.
And you look it up on YouTube. You can find it if you're curious. So he was quoted as saying when I saw an interview of him about this album, and people were saying that, well, you know, you singing Kiss, nobody thinks you would put out an album like this. And he says, look, he says, you know, people. He says I'm a singer who sings rock. I'm not a rock singer. Mm-hmm. That was his quote. So in other words, that he could sing other stuff other than rock. You know, he's a singer who sings rock. He's not a rock singer, if you understand that. Okay. Right.
Yeah.
So, and he is really great on this. I mean, it's like, it's not even like, oh, okay, he's doing that. It's not like the novelty of, oh, it's Paul Stanley of Kiss singing Motown. This is some good stuff.
He played this for me.
And you couldn't figure out who it was.
I couldn't figure out who it was.
Right.
Then later, once he said it, once he told me who it was,
then
I could hear it.
Right.
But it was really good, and this is me. I rushed out and got it. And, and I played it for a couple other friends who
couldn't figure out.
Were kind of like the same way. Like, wow, that's really good.
Yeah.
And they would go see this too. It's like, and they're not Kiss fans. My only thing is, if this does go on tour and I do go see this, I just hope they're not idiots that are going, hey, play rock and roll. Well, there's always going to be that. There's somebody to yell Freebird too. So
yeah, and I promise not to yell it too loud.
Right.
Yeah.
No. So go through some of the covers.
Yeah, here's the covers that like I said, there's 9 covers and 5 originals. The 5 originals we're not going to talk about, but like Ed said, it's in the style of Motown and Philly Soul, the 5 originals that he did. So you kind of won't. You can't even tell, like, when the covers end and an original song comes on, because you're like, oh, is that a cover too? I don't know, but it sounds like it would be a cover,
right?
But it's not. Okay, so it starts off the album. Could it be "I'm Falling in Love" by the Spinners?
Hey, sorry,
like you said,
dog trying to
we're in
get
the
out
backyard.
the heat.
Yeah. Okay, so the first, "Could It Be I'm Falling in Love" by the Spinners, 1972. The Spinners were a Philly band, right?
Yeah.
They recorded it in Sigma Sound Studios. What other famous person also recorded something in there?
The Young Americans album
by David Bowie.
Yep.
Right. So, okay. The second cover he does, "Ooh Baby Baby" by Smokey Robinson, 1965.
Has anybody met the new rep, Petey?
The new rep, Petey. Yeah. He does "Ooh Child," the 5 Stair Steps out of Chicago.
Which was funny because we wouldn't have known it's the 5 Stair Steps, but we do know the song.
Right.
Ooh, baby, baby.
Yeah. Ooh Child. No, it's
Ooh Child.
Right. Ooh Child.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It was also covered by the Spinners too. They were like I said, they were out of Chicago, known as the Chicago Soul. "Just My Imagination," "Running Away with Me" by the Temptations in 1971. This is a great cover because, you know, the Temptations.
Yep. Rolling Stones did it really good.
Yeah, he did that too. But
On Some Girls.
Yeah, but they did. The Rolling Stones didn't do the actual Motown sound of it. They did a Rolling Stones version. They Stones it.
Right.
Yeah. Paul Stanley doesn't kiss it. He does the actual version of it. The Tracks of My Tears, another Smokey Robinson. Now you got Smokey Robinson. He had that high pitch. I don't know what's the technical term of that. Falsetto. He had the falsetto, and hard to replicate. Not too many people can sing Smokey Robinson stuff. He comes really close. "Let's Stay Together" by Al Green, 1972. "La La Means I Love You," the Delphonics, another Philly band, 68.
Yep.
"You Are Everything" by the Stylistics, another Philly band.
And again, very high falsetto.
Very high, yeah, right. And "Baby I Need Your Lovin'" by the Four Tops. So it's a Motown, Philly soul, Chicago soul kind of vibe here, and he doesn't disappoint. It's if you're into this kind of music, you're going to like it.
Yep.
You really are. Forget that it's Paul Stanley. Just look it up, listen to it. You're going to like it.
So that basically wraps up this little segment.
Yeah.
We're going to do little bits and pieces like this, and again, we're just going to spot go live on the weekend during the summer.
As more new releases come out,
new releases,
we'll talk about them. And there's a ton of stuff coming out from what I see.
And the good thing is, and you know I'm going to be the one to jinx it, is there hasn't been many sad moments lately.
Right. So hopefully that'll continue to not be for the rest of this year at least.
And this dog has to like chew on wood. Come on. So
anyway, so
Yeah.
that's the end of this segment. I hope
Yep.
hope you guys liked
We
it.
got some more that I'm going to be putting
Right.
together and all that.
And if we do a little more drinking later on, some
Who knows?
margaritas maybe, we might pop on and slur a couple more videos.
and we may
Who
actually
knows?
just actually go live because
yeah.
I don't have the big computer set up now, and I think it's a lot easier. And it was interesting because Christoph Stevens, another regular,
Right.
who's actually come to the show a couple
Yes.
times for some interesting reasons.
Yes.
He was putting together, with the green screen, and he goes, "Wow, I didn't realize all the work that's involved in yet."
Yeah.
So now, just doing it the old school way, the way that
Yeah.
we used to do it on the iPhone, because the
Yeah.
iPhone is caught up to
I'll tell
Friday
you,
Night
the
Vinyl.
green screen you have set up now, Ed, it's a great depiction of a backyard and,
Yeah,
and
it
everything.
is.
It really comes out. It almost looks like it's real.
It does. It does. It almost looks like I have a real dog.
We're actually here. Yeah.
So, all right. So, I want to thank everybody. Like the post,
Yeah.
comment.
Like our page,
We're gonna
all that
we're
kind
gonna
of
be
stuff.
watching your comments.
Yeah.
I will be brilliantly answering your questions. Lenny will attempt to answer one of them.
And really try to listen to some of the stuff that we talked about today. You'll really enjoy it. We wouldn't bring up anything that we didn't think you guys would like. So just
Yep.
trust us.
Yep. So we will talk to you soon, and thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Take care.
And freeze. And because I said freeze,
Hmm.
it's like, oh. Watch out.
Well, I mean, as soon as you went to take care, you could just edit it out there.
Oh shit!